Welcome to day one of Calmsutra in the lockdown workshop. It is a 21-day anti-anxiety journaling workshop that we will be doing. Now, when we look at this whole idea of Calmsutra about the workshop, every single part of this conversation is designed carefully. If you've been part of this journey last year in the first lockdown in 2020, you know that the way the process is designed, it is about handwritten journaling, slowing down, calming down, and using the body and mind coordination to create the shift that I'm talking about. It is not the easiest thing, especially in the times that we are in. 2 days back, I received this message from someone I have never met, and she spoke about the challenges, COVID complications she and her father were going through, and they used the stroke practice to deal with it. I cannot tell you how happy that made me feel, how thrilled I was to know about it. And just in that moment, I felt we should do this again because everything around is going crazy and we cannot just continue to be helpless and feel uncertain and feel anxious about everything that is going around, right? So we have to control what we can control and drop with what we cannot. And you can hear the ambulance. I hear it almost every 20 minutes right outside my house because we have a huge hospital around, and it is heart-wrenching to hear these vans passing by because obviously you think about the patient and the family members. So no matter what happens around us, if we decide to deal with the situation by keeping our mental balance, then the situations become easier and you become more resourceful. So we do not want to deny what is happening around us because that is not possible. Obviously, the things are difficult. We have so much to deal with, and some of you might be going through COVID, probably have gone through the experience dealing with it for your parents and family members. So the situations are difficult and we do not deny that. But what we are trying to do through this process of 21 days is we are building the journey, we are building the whole process for you to cultivate your mind in a manner that you'll be able to deal with whatever shows up with more integrity and more calmness and more grounding. Now, the rule that I'm going to use here, and you will hear me speak about this over and over again, I use it in my high performance coaching all the time. Hear this carefully, okay? If you cannot lead a situation with your mind because your mind is chaotic, it is not allowing you to see through the situation and see straight, and it is creating all these illusions and fears and anxiety based thoughts. If your mind, basically, when it is useless, if you can't lead with your mind, then lead with your body, which means use your body to put yourself into action in a manner that it can help you. Second way of doing the same thing, opposite way of doing the same thing, is if your body is useless, which means you're feeling exhausted, you're tired, you're injured, you are infected, you are going through something where you cannot move your body in a natural manner, then lead through your mind. Here, use your mind to put your body into a calmer space and deal with things in a manner it can do better than what it did. So this is a principle. If you can't lead with your mind, lead with your body. If you can't lead with your body, lead with your mind. And why am I saying it? Because mind and body are closely associated. They function together. They have like these, internal mechanisms, and we forget about it. When we feel emotionally low, we feel trapped. If we feel physically exhausted, we feel trapped. But if we understand there is a mechanism, there is a hack to use one thing to deal with the other, we'll be able to achieve a great deal of results. And that's what we are trying to do. So when we look at this whole process, you may find it extremely simple. And it is simple, but it takes a lot of work to make complicated things very simple, right? It is not the easiest thing to achieve. So if we are looking at these situations, we are looking at 21 different aspects of your personality and simplifying it, allow the process to work. I'm not saying that it would show results today or tomorrow, but it is a process. So stick around. make sure that you give yourself this time to connect with your internal thinking. And all I would say is I will give my 100%, my best, to come up with solutions which are helpful, which are useful, and which could transform everything about the situation. So if you haven't registered yet, the link is aditisurana.com/lockdown21, and we will send you, once you register, we'll send you emails, resources for you to get started with it. And you have to send a handwriting sample, your handwriting sample, in the given format. What we are doing is we are collecting everybody's handwriting sample, and as a team we are studying the common patterns and issues that people are suffering through, and the content of these 21 days will be based on that. So make sure that you send your handwriting sample, because it is better to participate, for me to look at things for what they are, so that I can do my job at the best possible capacity. The second thing you can do is, the process is built on 3 steps. First is I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to talk about this concept and I'm going to ask you a question. It's a method called grapho journaling. I have been using it for the longest time, but last year, for the first time, we made it public and did that first very workshop. Now we're continuing that process with 21 different specific concepts turned into a question and walked with the S-stroke practice. So what we're going to do is, step 1, I'm going to ask you a question. But before you get to journaling and writing about this question, you're going to take a moment and do this beautiful stroke of S-stroke, as we call it, Calmsutra stroke. It's a graphotherapy stroke. So I'm going to open your wound by asking you a question. And after that, before you answer the question, you're supposed to apply some medicine, right? You open a wound, it is already difficult, it's painful, it's hurtful, I understand. But as you open the wound with a question that I'm going to ask, or with the examples that I give, before answering the question, you'll do the S-stroke practice for 1 entire page. And before we end it, before we close that 1 entire page, you will remember the question 1 more time. And after you're done with that, you will actually take a ballpoint pen and a paper to do all of this and write the handwritten response to the question. It's important that you stick to the handwritten response, because that's how we land up solving the problem. That's how we understand what is that mind-body coordination. So what I said before, if you can't understand what's happening here, lead through your body. And that body movement, that S-stroke movement, that physical writing is cathartic, is therapeutic. So when you stick to the process and you do it for 21 days, your brain, if you know this already, I'm sure you would have read it somewhere, that 21 days is a habit formation time. It's where your mind can be molded, your brain can be molded, no new neuro pathways are formed. So all of that is included when it comes to your S-stroke practice and the journaling practice. Okay, so 1 step at a time, 1 conversation at a time. So on habit, before I move ahead and talk about the habit thing further, let me read this paragraph from a book called One Simple Thing. It is by Eddie Stern, and you might not be able to see it. It's like the mirror image, but he is an Ashtang teacher for more than 30 years. And after all his experience with Ashtang, he participated in a study where he worked with neuroscientists, and he built the correlation between mind and body and wrote this book. If you are interested in Ashtang Yoga or Yoga, it's a very, very nice book to read. Now, he speaks about the difference between a habit and a ritual or routine. Now, what is the difference? When you are using a habit, you pick a thing, you pick that, whatever is your fixed idea, and you keep doing it unconsciously. Habit of brushing, we just go about it whole day, every morning. We do not pay attention to what exactly is happening there. We are not aware about it. Most habits become mechanical, become automatic, become self-generated, and we keep doing it because we are supposed to do them. We keep doing it because at some point you learn to do it, and you continued the journey without actually altering it, without doing something about it. You just say, okay, I'm supposed to do it. This is what I was taught, and I should be doing it. So many people live through their entire life from one habit to another. And habit need not be positive or negative. It could be a neutral habit. So habits are pre-programmed mechanism. When people operate from habits, they have little control. So the line that he wrote, and which stayed with me, he said, every time you pick up, you go on the yoga mat, and when you start doing your practice, you can choose to do it from mere habit or you can do it because you're aware of your choices. The very moment you choose that awareness of your choices, you can alter, you can go deeper, you can withdraw, you can maneuver the process, because you, of all the people, have a choice of your awareness when you're walking into it, without which it becomes a mechanical journey. Now, why am I talking about habits so much? Because anxiety is a habit. Personality is a habit. The whole idea of personality is not like this alien idea. These are small behaviors that you have practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced over these years for them to feel automatic. You say, but I'm like this, I behave like this is who I am. All these ideas are smaller behavioral patterns practiced to a point that now they are unconscious, now they are automatic, they are self-generated. Now you do not even have a choice while choosing them. Anxiety is one of that. I've spent 17 years studying people pretty much every single day of my life, and because I love this whole subject so much, I keep reading, keep observing, keep studying different patterns in which people surprise themselves. People see that they're falling into a trap, but they keep walking the same trap over and over again. Now when you study that, when you see the patterns moving in a particular manner, you wonder, if this person sees it, why would he not stop? If he can see the correlation as an obvious thing, why would he not alter it? But most of the time, the option of altering is not available, because we have the habit of performing, of doing things in a particular manner. Now, if you want to break that habit, if you want to go around the habit, it is not the easiest thing to do, because you have tried and tested it for the longest time, right? So the awareness piece is the crucial part, which means you have to catch yourself while walking into it. And then when you catch yourself doing it, automatically, softly, things start changing. And when you use S-stroke, which gives you a pause, which gives you that breather, which gives you the mechanism of creating flow in the areas where you feel stuck, it allows you to change your perspective. And that is, according to me, is powerful. It is revolutionary, because we know as mental health practitioners, we know how much efforts it takes to change one behavior in a person. So when you are saying that, when people told us through this 1 year, and I've been hearing it for 15 years now, that how their habit of losing temper reduced, how their irritation, their frustration stopped. That whole generation of that anger stopped after doing this practice. Or during COVID, when your body was giving up, and the virus takes over and you feel completely exhausted and mentally delusional, this brings in clarity. And it does not bring in clarity by doing something external. It's your body and your mind. So going back to the principle I said, if you cannot lead with your mind, lead with your body. And that's what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to lead with the body. So the journaling question for today, the first journaling question is what I would like you to ponder about, talk about, is this. When it comes to your habits, your anxiety provoking habits, so look at those habits for a moment and ask yourself this question: if I look at my anxiety provoking habits and choose to change them, habits that you've been nurturing, habits that you've been cultivating, knowingly or unknowingly, but these are your habits. If you feel triggered by something, there is a pattern that you follow, but it's a habit. Now it has become unconscious, it has become automatic. So if I choose to look at my habits, which are anxiety inducing and self-nurtured, what can I do to change them? Now, you might not be able to come up with great ideas, and that's okay. And don't even try to answer this question immediately. My job was to ask a question after setting the context, which I did. Now, the second part is where we will be doing the S-stroke practice. So if you attended the live session, you know that every day I will speak about a conversation like this for 5 to 7 minutes or 10 to 12 minutes. And then we will move to doing the S-stroke practice along with you will be doing it along with me. So we'll walk into it and you'll do the practice, and something shifts when so many people do it together. It's like meditation, right? So when multiple people are meditating together, the impact is exponential. So if you attend the live session, the whole energy, the whole whole impact is much deeper. You can obviously do it later and, as per your convenience, if you're not in India. And I know so many people who have registered from all around the world, so that's absolutely fine. It's not like it won't work. It would work. But if you're live, the commitment is different. It's like live concert and re-listening to the live concert. I'm not calling myself a rock star. I wish, but no, I'm not. But the whole idea here, you get the point. We want to make sure that we stick to the process, and if we do it together, the whole journey becomes deeper, and that's the whole idea. Okay, so coming to the S-stroke practice. So this is the page that I'm choosing. You will receive the whole printable document of this in the email. If you have a printer, print it. If you do not have a printer, you can take a notebook which is ruled. Make sure that you use only one side to do your S-stroke practice, and you're writing. Don't write on both the sides, because when you do the practice, there is this thing called impressions. Can you see? Like there are like these like little impressions at the rear side of the page, and we do not want those impressions to get mixed with what we are doing. So only one side. Last time I had said right here and do S-stroke practice there. This time I'm just changing that little rule, and I'm saying write only on the right side of the page. Just continue to write on the right side. S-stroke practice, journaling, everything happens only on one side of your notebook. So if you open the notebook on the right side, you do all the S-stroke practice, all the journaling, leave the left pages to do something else, do some art, or like make your to-do notes in the future. But right now, for 21 days, I claim one book of your life, and give me that one book, and do not tell me how I shouldn't be talking about using paper, because we require the mind-body coordination, and we will save paper in other areas, but here we require to use it. Okay, coming to the last part. Now, once you're done listening to this video, and every day this would happen, you can close the conversation, go to the actual journaling practice. So do like journaling for next 15 minutes. Set a timer. Don't indulge more than 15 minutes, because if you do that, it becomes an overwhelming experience. Also, so many times people get stuck in a thought. So when you are like, boss, I want to deal with it, I'm going to walk in and do it for 15 minutes, and we'll figure out what comes out of it. Now that's the journey we want to build. Why? Because I want you to cultivate this as your routine and or as your ritual. Now, what is the difference between that? When you do a routine, if you are a yoga practitioner, you would know this. I practice Ashtanga. So for me, every time you do the same asana again and again and again, you build your awareness with the way your body is moving. You build your awareness with your breath, with your body movement. And that awareness is where you actually build your practice. Right? It is not about how fast can you get into a pose or how cool it looks. None of that. It is the internal awareness with which you follow a routine. So the very moment you are involved in that activity, you're conscious about it, you're making those choices very carefully, the same habit can be converted into a routine. But routine is not unconscious. Routine is very, very careful, and it's a choice. So every time you're doing something, you make a choice. You may not make the best possible choice, but you're making a choice. So thereby, next time you know what to change about this, how to improve it, how to alter it. So your thinking process technically should become your routine to, literally like a choice where you're making changes because you choose to. You must be in control, and that's the capacity and power we have with our minds, with our bodies, with our ways of functioning. Okay, and people who are high performers have just hacked the system. People who are struggling with anxiety are yet to hack the system. That's it. It's not a rocket science, and it is not impossible. It's not that we cannot do it. We all require to use this machine the way it works. Right now, we are accidentally using it. We press something, it's like first day of driving a car. We have no clue how to go about it. We are like, okay, accelerator, oh, okay, brake, okay, clutch. Why do I require all these things? We are confused about it. But as you learn how to use that machine, you learn to drive, and while driving, you can eat and you can talk to your friend. People talk on the phone. You can do so much while doing that activity, because now that you've learned how to use this machine carefully and properly, there's so much that is possible. Same thing is applicable to your mind. So let's not get stuck and remain stuck with this whole mechanism. Let's just go beyond it. Okay, so that's the question for the day. Few things to keep in mind. Instructions: make sure if you haven't registered for this workshop yet, the link is aditisurana.com/lockdown21. Okay, that's the link. You go register, you'll start receiving our emails which we send every single day. The email will have the question, will have the video, will have the little write-up from my side, and it's a journey that we are building in. You can join this process anytime. So if you're new to this conversation, new to what is happening, and you're like, I don't know what's going to happen, what should I do? So you can join this conversation, and your friends and family members can join tomorrow, day after, anytime. We will send you all the details, and once you start that timer on day 6, day 7, you'll start receiving all the emails, and after 21 days, you'll receive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So don't worry about it. Okay, just walk the journey, because it is not important how fast you jump into it. It's important that you look at these 21 different aspects of your mind and your thinking and your way of dealing with anxiety, and question it and alter it and take it to the next level and make a choice with it, instead of making it unconscious and, oh, this happened to me. Cannot be the case. Okay, now before I end this conversation, we had 422 people live when the conversation went live at 4 p.m. I'm so grateful. I cannot tell you, like I'm still figuring that whole information. We didn't expect that response. We didn't expect 3,000 people to go through this in last 1 year. We didn't expect 422 people to show up in one single day. So I'm genuinely grateful for all your love, all your trust. Now what you got to do is, once you do your journaling, make sure that you do the entire page of S-stroke. Now you have to learn this. There are 5 rules mentioned in your welcome email. We will give you links to learn this stroke. So learn this. It is in Hindi, it is in English, but learn this stroke for yourself. Make sure that all the nuances are taken into consideration. There are 5 different principles to keep in mind. I'll repeat them any which ways, but in the video, the explanation video, I have taken time to explain what to do, why to do, how it works. So it's kind of like it stays with you, and because I believe you will be doing it for 21 days and continue this routine for your betterment, learning it properly and learning it for, in a way that I have designed it, will be genuinely helpful. Okay, so do not take a shortcut and watch only the main parts. Take 12 minutes of your precious life and give it to the method that you're going to use it for so long, and learn the stroke carefully. Okay, what you got to do after you're done with the stroke: make a photograph, make a video, and tag my Instagram handle at Aditi Surana. We want to give feedback to every single person who tags us. Why we are making this, because if you practice the incorrect stroke, it is not helpful. We want you to practice the correct one. We want you to learn the stroke the way it is designed, and it's a new thing. Nobody knows that handwriting and creates such a huge impact. So we know that it is tough. So my team and I would make sure that you receive feedback. If we delay by a day or two, please be patient. We'll get back to as many responses as possible in a day, and we want to make sure that you are on the correct path. Okay, so let's walk this journey together. If you want to share this information with anybody that you think can get benefited, the post about it can be shared. We'll keep making newer posts, but there is one where I said 21-day lockdown, Calmsutra in lockdown post. So that's like the best one to share to begin the journey with, so that people know that they can jump in, hop in, and start this process at any given point in time. I will see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and I hope, I'm going to pray that the internet is better and we don't have to struggle and do this again. But, fingers crossed, and we'll do whatever it takes to show up and do the work, and for us to go beyond our anxiety and not stay stuck. This is my commitment. I genuinely feel that every single person who is suffering through anxiety and all the challenges that we are right now unable to get beyond, is because we were not taught to deal with it. And if it is about mechanisms and simple hacks and simple tools, we should be able to do it. It is like, healthy living is about healthy mind and healthy body. So no matter what happens around us, we need not feel the way we feel. We need not be the result of it. And I mentioned my favorite thinker, Carl Jung. He's a psychiatrist and father of analytical psychology. It's a brilliant mind. And he spoke about this one idea. He said, I'm not what happens to me. I am what I choose to become. And thereby, whatever is happening around us, we are not result of that. We will choose what we want to do by choosing our approach to it. Now, another anecdote there is the ships that we see in the ocean. They do not sink because of the water around them. They sink only because of the water that gets in. So if the thoughts of this chaos, of other people's behavior, if other things that are happening around you are getting to you, then you are subjected to that whole upheaval and pain and emotional journey. But if you know the mechanism to filter it, you know the mechanism to alter it, you know the mechanism how to deal with it, then you need not be only the result of it. And that's my idea. That's the idea that we're going to talk. And because we are so different and human mind is so complicated, we have so much to cover, we have so much to deal with, we have so many different areas where I believe in this, like how if you have ever learned kickboxing, this, like you do like the footwork and the handwork. The whole idea is like you're gauging, you're figuring out like which is that perfect point to knock. And if you're doing a mass program like that, we have to look at different points that we can tap into for you to alter something, for you to change something, for you to take it to the next level. Now, we don't know which one would hit for you, but do not dismiss any point, because you never know, like a smallest thing may be altering the large area of your life. So you do not know where exactly your shoe hurts. You just know you're getting shoe bites and you're like, oh my god, I don't want to use this shoe, I don't know how to use it, and that's happening. But if we know exactly where it hurts, we can probably solve the problem, right? So stick with this 21-day process. Not the easiest thing for people who are not used to routines, but we will walk together. And if you can join the live session, nothing like it. The whole impact is much stronger. I'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Till then, happy writing. So make sure that you do your journaling handwritten response to the question, okay? Bye-bye.